Romero yesterday did a statement, which I will read, which is now been edited. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, has it?
Yes. It's been edited. So, the original statement read, apologies to all fans fans of you who follow us everywhere, who are always there and will continue to be. We are responsible, there's no doubt about that. I am the first, but we will keep facing up to it and trying to turn the situation around for ourselves and for the club. And then he says, well, it's the interesting part. At times like this, it should be other people coming out to speak, but they don't, and has been happening for several years now. They only show up when things are going well to tell a few lies. We'll stay here working, sticking together, and giving our all to turn things around, especially at times like this. Keeping quiet, working harder, and moving forward all together is part of football. All together will be easier. Spurs official. So obviously that line, they only show up when things are going well to tell a few lies. That's obviously one that grabbed the headlines. He's now edited it, I think it was as of last night, as of early hours of the morning. He edited it to say they only show up when things are going well, and he removed to tell a few lies. So first of all, Brian, what's your reaction to the statement as it was, the original? And then I'll get maybe your theories as to why he's taken that line out.
So what makes me... I agree with what he's saying, but what makes me laugh about this is Romero says that line, the club only come out when things are good and tell lies, or edited the lies part. But then you've got your club captain, who hardly ever comes out unless things are bad. He's club captain, hardly does any press. And when so I've agreed with a lot of what Romero has said, and I agree with that part of what he said. But this is a guy that comes out only when the things hit the fan. A lot of the captain's responsibility is to do the media, and he hardly does anything. So, whereas he's right, and at least it's someone in the camp that will come out and say it as it is, as we've known players have done before. He did it. The thing that he did when he appointed, when we sacked Ange. The day we appointed Frank, he waited to come out. So I agree with what he's saying, and I think a lot of the Spurs players have commented or liked it from what I've heard and seen. But Romero needs to do more media. I've just seen someone, where is it? Football, because he doesn't speak English. He's done interviews in English football memes. He's also done a lot where he speaks like Bielsa did, where he speaks in Spanish and it's interpreted. If you're captain of this football club, you have media responsibilities, like it or not.
What do you think? Obviously, we've heard this from Romero before. When Frank got hired, remember the day he got hired, I think it was at 2 hours after. I think it was it the day Frank got hired or the day Ange got sacked?
The day Frank got hired.
It was the day Frank got hired. He said there was all... He was basically doing a post about Ange, wasn't he? Saying, you overcame the problems this club has had and it will always have, or something like that.
Words to that effect.
All has always had. So clearly calling out the board. He's now made this statement last night, saying that these people should be talking now and they only come out when things are going well to tell a few lies.
Yep.
So what do you think has led him to that statement? What do you think? He's obviously signed a contract in the summer.
Yep.
He's been made club captain.
Yep.
Start the season well. Remember, that PSG game, the Man City game, phenomenal, and start the season well. Things clearly recently have not been the same.
Yep.
He's been making mistakes. He hasn't seemed himself.
Yep.
Like at his best, put it that way. He's been making some stupid mistakes, whatever. So, do you think it's a case of he's not happy with the transfer business? Is he not happy with maybe the decision to sack Ange and bring Frank in? Is that part of his thinking? Or is not necessarily the decision to bring Frank in, but is he not happy with how he's got us playing? Like, is the lack of ambition in how we play? We're so risk averse, and the fact that we're not looking to dominate the opposition, which we know Carlo Romero likes to do. Is that the case? Is it a case of he's unhappy with the players he's playing with and the transfer policy? What do you think? Why do you think he's calling out the board now?
look, I think it's a lot to do with the transfer activity. And obviously when he signed that contract, he was probably given assurances and probably told things, just like Harry Kane has been. Just like Harry Kane was, where he said, back my ambition, I'll stay. And you look at it, Romero is a World Cup winner. Romero should be playing in a team where there are players of a very, very, very high standard playing with him and alongside him, and he should be regularly competing for things. But every window, it's the same, isn't it? Every window, it's the same story. I do think a lot of the players are fed up and losing interest in this style of football. And I don't blame them now. I don't. So I think it's just a host of things. But yesterday, like you said, there was so much going on with Frank and his cup. I still, like you, I thought it was AI. I really thought that cannot be the case. But when you hear it is, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Obviously, he's saying Arsenal left it in the dressing room.
Yeah.
So you've used a cup and you've picked this cup up and you haven't looked at it. Oh, it just there's so many things to say. Why did Tottenham not provide their own cups like Arsenal did? Anyway, it's just like I said, getting back to it.
But going back to Romero, like he's obviously saying this now when he hasn't been in the best form.
Yep.
So what's his motivation for saying it? Is he trying to put the club is he putting the pressure on the club to make some signings in January? Is he putting on the pressure on the club to sack Frank? Maybe. What do you think he's trying to gain from putting out a message like this?
I don't know. Maybe it's the strategy for an exit in the summer.
Is he laying down the groundwork for an exit? Because we've seen a lot of managers go against the board recently and basically engineer their own sacking.
Mate, look, when anyone speaks out, they're gone, don't they?
That's usually happens.
Whether it
but you rarely see players do it. It's only usually managers. You can't sack a player, really. Not
Danny Rose, Harry Kane have spoken. Got obviously Danny, but look, it's
Rose did. He said no more players. Google
when he did the Sun interview. Harry Kane always share my ambition, and I'll stay here. You look at the great players that have left this football club. It's all been for footballing reasons and wanting to progress and win things. Obviously, it's very much. You know how emotional we all are as fans, and the good people that come on fan shows around the world on different channels. They come on after a fan show and they speak very, very raw and very, very emotionally and passionately because it's so instant. So we can only imagine what the players feel, especially with the disconnect at the moment within the club and the fans. So it was a thing here at the moment, but everything he said in it is right, in my opinion. And if I was to ask what's the end game on this, do I think this is to wake the board up to start signing the players they promised or quality? I can't see the board doing that in January. Possibility in the summer, but where I was hopeful, I'm losing faith. And the other thing I can only think of is to engineer a move out.
But you don't think it's related to the manager?
Say again?
You don't think it's related to the manager and how?
I think the performance, like I said, I think the performances.
But I'm saying, could it be putting pressure on the board to sack the manager? Is that possible?
Well, I think it's more the board because he said that they only come out when things are good and tell lies. So Frank has had to go out, like him or not, and give press conferences.
No, I'm not saying he's referring to the manager. No, he's aiming at the hierarchy.
Yep.
But is the motivation to put the pressure on them to get rid of Frank? Is that part of it? Is that possible?
Put it this way, I think a large slice of the pie is about the lack of quality. But I hadn't looked at it that way until you mentioned it about Frank. Maybe there is.
Because that's obviously what else are they going to do? Really, the hierarchy, are they? One of the options is sacking a manager, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
of
in
course
terms of changing what they're doing at the moment. So could it be putting the pressure on the board to sack him?
But do you know what's in? When you look at that, you look through just Romero's time at Spurs. He's had what? Nuno, Conte, Stellini, Mason, obviously they're very, very short term, and now
Frank,
he's had 6 managers. So at what point, when you look at this, does he think the 7th's going to be, 7th time works the charm, 7th time lucky or whatever? So there may be, and I hadn't really thought of it about the Frank angle beforehand. I looked at it mainly as board, lack of silverware, it's not silverware, lack of quality in the squad, lack of the big wages, lack of all that. So I look at it mainly as that, like a large chunk to pie.
Not enough investment in the team.
Yeah, but you're totally right. Like I said, I think there could be something in it about Frank. There really could be, but the way he's got at it, I think it's more about lack of investment and quality. Well, not even investment, quality. Because whether I like to win or not, Spurs have spent money. Or transfer fees. Wages is a completely another story on the players we've lost out years and years. But they've just spent it so poorly.
But another angle is he is the captain of our football club. Is it his job to be calling out the board? Is it his job to knuckle down, put in the performances and let other people deal with that kind of element? Let the fans call the board out. Your job is to galvanise the team, lead the team, and hold yourself to a certain standard. And now we know recently he hasn't been doing that. The performances haven't been, or I would say I wouldn't say the performances in general, but he's definitely been making more mistakes recently, and that's definitely true. And some people saying, is he checked out? Now, when you look at that, and you hear him say these things, like, is it a bit rich saying like all these complaints when he's not holding himself to the highest standard right now? Or is it understandable for you that a player like him, who wears his heart on his sleeve, when things are not going fully right and the things are such a mess as they are, that it's hard for him to keep at a certain level when he's not a guy who can ignore his thoughts, maybe like other players can potentially?
You mean maybe he's got a touch of the Bri where he thinks...
Yeah,
the way he thinks... I always thought there was a bond between us two. You know
what I mean? Like, should he be blocking all this mess, and be like, and just play the best he can all the time? I'm not saying he does it on purpose, plays badly. I'm just saying clearly when things are not going right and the whole thing's a mess, subconsciously it seeps into him, and it can affect his performances, put it that way, when everything is a mess. And when it comes to a final or something, he's one of the best, whatever. Yep. So when you're looking at a captain of the club, is it acceptable for a player to have that kind of stuff affect him? Or do you not mind that this guy's just a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve kind of thing, and what you see is what you get, and if things are not going well, he will kind of represent in him as well, and when things are going great, he'll be at his very best?
A bit of both, bro. A bit of both, because you look at it, and do you remember in the All or Nothing documentary when Jose Mourinho says you're too nice, you've got to be horrible, something? We just, like we said, how many times do we have a go say that Spurs don't go at the referees too much, or there's certain things that Spurs never do, the dark arts or whatever. Maybe if you don't call it out, nothing gets done about it. Then it's just a free ride for them. But like you said, he is a professional footballer, and the number one thing should be him focusing on his game. But it's little boy who cried wolf with this club, isn't it? Oh, it's going to be different this time. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So he's got a very he can be very emotional. He can be very passionate, and I think it's all poured out of him. Like we were saying before, people we go on this. We go on these fan shows, you do the content, fans come and have their opinion, they speak how they see it as emotionally, passionately and heartfelt on the game. So the players must feel the same, and maybe it did need calling out. Maybe it did, but you're right, he should be focusing.
Yeah, is he the right person to do it?
Well, who if he isn't, who is?
Great question. I mean, yeah.
If you saw Lucas Berg, Val,
is this pitting because a lot of the players have commented, Richarlison, Porro, Xavi and Dragusin have both liked it. So clearly it's a dressing room wide feeling. Yep. It's not just Romero isolated. The players are clearly feeling the same. So is this pitting the players against the hierarchy? And if so, what does that mean for us?
What all we do know is we've seen it. How many times have the managers been thrown under the bus by the set of players that they have? Poch was. It's what we've done, and it goes back to the culture of this football club and the accountability and the standards and the. This isn't run like a football club. It's not football first. It's just hit and hope. It really is hit and hope on the footballing side, and they keep trying to correct their mistakes, but when they correct their mistakes, they make even more. Rather than addressing the issue, other teams will go out and address the issue. They won't try and find alternatives or whatever. And if Romero's not going to come out, like I just said, who is the right man to come out? It's not going to be Frank. It's not going to be Frank. It's not going to be.
Cost him his job, right?
Exactly. Remember what they say? It's very easy. It's easier to sack a manager than sack a player. So the accountability and the culture of this football club, there's just no standards. Or there is standards. It's just dysfunctional.